Am I the jerk for telling my sister she was spoiled for buying 2 pairs of swimsuits? So I, 17 years old, have a sister, 14 years old. She is generally pretty good, but she can be a bit spoiled or just entitled in a way. She gets pretty full on and angry and generally does not listen to my mother, to the point my mother cannot even get her to listen and do what she is told. As I am 17, I am allowed to do certain things she is not, but she does not understand that. She demands she have what I have, and my mother just lets her have it. If I try to tell my mother that it is unfair that I had to wait until I was 17, but my sister just got it the moment she turned 14, she does not listen. That brings us to our current problem. As I am 17 and my mother is slightly less strict now, she is Christian and quite strict with clothing, I asked if I could wear a bralette bikini. I was very hesitant to ask her because I knew if I asked, my sister would demand she wear it too. However, my mother assured me she would tell my sister no if she asked and acknowledged that she sometimes caves, but promised she would not this time. Well, she ended up caving more or less. My sister overheard that I was getting one and came to my mother, asking if she could get it too. She was already ordering a nice one-piece online, but immediately wanted a bikini too. My mother just told her sure, as long as it is not too short, and my jaw dropped. My mother seems to think there is absolutely no problem with letting her wear it, but when I was 14, she would have never let me wear a bikini. I tried to bring up to her that it was unfair that she was just letting my sister get whatever she wanted, but she just got super angry with me and acted like I was being a brat. To be clear, I've had the same pair of swimwear for 6 or 7 years, and I'm buying the new pair with money I have made from doing quizzes. My sister has had all of her swimwear bought for her. She gets new pairs regularly, yearly, and was buying these new ones with her birthday money. She got quite a lot, and I got none for my birthday. My sister had said she would just get her one piece because I made such a big issue over a little problem and has already ordered it. However, she is now saying the next time she gets money, she is going to buy a bikini and not even wear her one piece. I was shocked, so I told her she was spoiled and privileged because she had just gotten a new pair of swimming attire. She just said that I was rude and dramatic. My mother is acting like I am a brat for bringing it up and refuses to tell my sister no way. I feel like I am the antagonist because everyone is telling me I am just being ungrateful and dramatic, but I feel like I have a valid reason to be upset. So please tell me, am I the antagonist? There are no jerks here, OP. Parents loosen up with each kid, and it's something the oldest just has to deal with. Focus on the things she's allowing you to do now and don't worry about the past. It sucks, but that's life. Your feelings are justified though. Am I the jerk for not being able to move my friend out of the way when a steel beam nearly fell onto us? I need advice since I have fallen out with a friend and I feel really bad. Last week on Thursday, I was going to university and something bad happened. To provide some backstory, I take a train and then a bus to get to my university, but recently I haven't taken the bus since it is unreliable and never comes on time. So I just walk. It is a good thing too because road work and construction have popped up on the route the bus takes and it won't be completed for a long while. Sometimes my friends join me on my walk to school. There are 3 of them, but one of the 3 rarely walks. Alma is the one who doesn't like to walk. She is on the heavier side. I am not exactly the slimmest, and neither are my other 2 friends, but Alma is definitely the heaviest. No big deal though, it doesn't get in the way of anything. Last Thursday I got off at the train station and made my way to the traffic light across the street. I began walking, and a few minutes later I heard someone call my name. It was Alma. I stopped so we could walk together and talk. She told me she couldn't take the bus today because of the construction. I offered to walk with her until the buses could return to their usual route. As we were walking, we passed the construction area that buses can't go through, but people can. We were laughing when we heard a couple of construction workers yelling at us from a few stories above to move and get out of the way. I was the first to look up and saw one of those steel beams falling in our direction. I got scared and yanked Alma by her backpack, but it was a little hard to move her since she is a bit heavy, and I think she was paralyzed with fear. I tried a few more times, but she didn't budge, and the beam fell. Luckily, it wasn't anywhere close to us and the construction workers had been off about their assessment of the beam falling on us. Still, the area was closed off and we had to find a new route to walk. Alma and I were a bit shaken up, but we got to class safely. I walked her to her class and told her to meet at the entrance of the campus at the end of the day so we could figure out a new route to walk. She didn't meet me at the end of the day, and I had to walk to the train station alone. When I got home, Alma texted me. I thought it would be a message about how crazy what had happened in the morning was, but instead, it was a message about how bad I had made her feel for being overweight and how I wasn't pulling hard enough. She waited for me to see the message before she blocked me, and I couldn't respond. I started to panic and I felt guilty. I've tried to get in contact with her, but she's blocked me on everything. I feel so bad. I didn't mean for this to happen. If I am the bad person, please tell me. I won't react badly. I just want my friend back. Alma is not actually upset with you. She's mad at herself for freezing during a critical moment. Instead of dealing with this new reality, she's displacing her anxiety and getting mad at you for not being strong enough to move her. Sometimes people don't react how we hope they would in dangerous situations. This is Alma's mental issue to muscle through, and she's going to have to do the heavy lifting herself. Am I the jerk for having my partner stay over a lot? So, I have been living with a close friend of mine, Emma, for the past year and a half. Both of us are women in our early 20s and rent a 2-bedroom flat. I have been friends with Emma since we were in middle school, and we have not had any issues living together until now. We are both introverts but enjoy each other's company when we feel like hanging out. At the beginning of July, I started dating a guy named Mac. At first, Mac and I would only hang out a couple of times a week, and Mac would usually sleep over at my place. Mac lives with his family, so naturally we preferred my place over his. However, we quickly fell head over heels for each other. For the past month, maybe a month and a half, we have been seeing each other more often. Mac usually comes over on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes Sunday or Thursday as well. Whenever Mac is staying over, I always give Emma a heads up. Emma knew I was really into Mac, and she seemed to be happy for me when we started dating. We have separate bathrooms, so we only share a living room and kitchen. When Mac is over, we tend to stay in my room. The only time we take up common space is when we are cooking, as we do like to cook together. Emma never indicated having an issue about Mac being here. She has her own boyfriend of a year who has his own house, so she goes to him mostly on the weekends. Today, I got an angry text from Emma while I was at work. When Mac sleeps over, he always leaves with me when I go to work. Last night, we got home super late after a concert, and he was sleeping when I got up to go to work. He had today off, so I let him sleep in. He could not leave until someone was home because I did not want to leave the front door unlocked, as he does not have a key. Emma got home a little earlier than usual and thought she was alone until she saw Mac walking from my bathroom to my bedroom. Emma told me that she has tried to be cool because she is happy that I am in a relationship, but she feels like Mac is always here. She is also annoyed because I have never formally introduced them and said it is like she has basically been living with a stranger for the past 2 months. I feel bad that I made her feel that way. I did not mean to make her feel uncomfortable and honestly thought that our arrangement was fine. Since we are mostly in my room when Mac is over, we are quiet and respectful. We do not share a bathroom, so it is not like Mac is hogging the bathroom or using up toilet paper. I will admit that I have never actually introduced Mac to Emma. He is pretty shy, and I've been waiting for the perfect time. Emma asked me how I would like it if she had her boyfriend over 3 to 4 nights a week, and now I'm not so sure. I sort of understand because I am also an introvert who likes their space, but it is not like Mac is here 5 to 7 nights a week. Am I the antagonist for having my boyfriend over so often? You didn't act correctly. You rented an apartment with her, not your boyfriend, and silently added him as a third lessee, which she didn't sign up for. The absence of a deliberately premeditated wish to harm does not mean that anyone who says they were harmed is wrong. It's common courtesy to ask a roommate if it's okay for someone else to sleep over or be around, especially as often as 5 times a week. Am I the jerk for being hurt because I stopped getting birthday gifts from my best friend? 2 years ago, I, a 20-year-old male, met my best friend, a 21-year-old female in high school. On my 18th birthday, she came to school and gave me a beautiful handmade gift. From then on, it became our tradition to make each other mostly handmade gifts because they did not have to be perfect. I threw my birthday party 1 month later, and she gave me another gift that she created with the rest of our group. During Christmas, she always organizes her birthday party, and our group also does Secret Santa, so she always gets a gift from me. The next year, she met her great friend, a 21-year-old female, and her current boyfriend, a 25-year-old male, at university. The next year, I was celebrating my 19th birthday, but I was exhausted from my final exams and did not want to throw a party. My father was ill and could not walk, and I also had 2 little sisters, so I could not ask them all to leave for one night so that my friends could come and drink. I thought I would get more gifts than just one from only my family. On my birthday, my best friend sent me funny wishes, and I thought she would give me a gift when we met in the city. However, it did not happen. It was not about getting something particular or expensive. I wanted the gift because it was our tradition, and I loved it. I waited a month, then 2, and finally asked about it. She seemed to feel bad, but said it was because I did not throw a party that year. This was a poor excuse because the previous year, she gave me a gift even a month before the party. After New Year's Eve, her boyfriend had a birthday, and she discussed many details about his present with me, such as how to paint and decorate it. His gift had 3 major parts, so she spent a lot of time on it. I knew I could not be mad about it because gifts for significant others are special, but this year I again did not receive anything. This time, I did not mention it because I was just sad. Later, she consulted me about a painting she was doing for her university friend. I thought, hold up, I did not get anything for the past 2 years, but you will start a very meaningful painting for her even 2 months before her actual birthday? I do not know what to think about it. Am I the wrong one here? Is it because we have been best friends for such a long time that we both know we are not going anywhere, so she stopped trying? Will I only get my birthday present if I organize my own party? Maybe in 4 years when I have my own flat? It sounds like she's just busier in her life with more friends and a boyfriend now. If the rest of the friendship is solid, it might be best to stop putting so much importance on whether or not she gives presents. Gifts aren't indicative of the importance of a relationship. 1 year of gift giving out of the 2-3 doesn't really equate to a pattern or tradition. Am I the jerk for asking my friend to avoid a sensory issue? I have a friend, Missy, who is a 32-year-old woman, and we have a healing relationship. We've both been through trauma in relationships and friendships, so we prioritize open communication about our wants, needs, and issues. I'm a 28-year-old woman, and I have sensory issues with sounds and touch, which have been heightened lately. I asked Missy not to make a specific sound while sending Snapchat messages because it is a sensory issue for me. I explained why it bothered me, recounting an experience from middle school to illustrate how certain sounds bother me. However, Missy interpreted it as me threatening to end our friendship over the sound. I have stopped taking medication for medical reasons, and my anxiety and depression have worsened. I have been experiencing intense mood swings and have been avoiding social settings. Missy threw a party for a friend. Although I initially declined, I ended up helping her clean and agreed at the last minute to attend. At the party, Missy, who was already tipsy, pulled me aside to tell me she had been telling my brother how mean I had been lately. Before we could continue, we were interrupted, sparing me from having this discussion in a highly anxious setting. After staying for a few hours, I announced that I was leaving. Missy insisted I come to the bathroom with her, where she confronted me with her grievances while still tipsy. She accused me of being childish and ridiculous for considering ending our friendship over a silly sound. I tried to explain to Missy that was not at all what I was saying or implying, but she continued to talk over me and tell me how she couldn't be herself around me now that I'd brought this up. We eventually got to a point where I apologized for hurting her, saying that was not my intention. She then asked to sit on my lap multiple times that night, and each time I declined with very closed-off body language. She then sat on my lap, shoving her face into my neck and giggling, and then made the sound in my ear. She apologized and stated it was an accident, but at this point I wanted to leave, so I said it was fine and left. This morning I felt uncomfortable with the situation and asked her for some time and to sit down and talk about this another day. So am I the wrong person in this situation? You did the right thing. You were clear about your boundaries and explained that certain sounds trigger sensory issues for you. Her behavior at the party, especially making the sound in your ear after you'd explicitly asked her not to, was incredibly disrespectful. It's understandable that you'd want to take a step back and process everything before having a calm conversation. Am I the jerk for changing my diet while living with a recovered anorexic? I am a 20-year-old female living with my parents and siblings at home over the summer. Recently, I have been receiving a lot of criticism from my mother about my diet. For backstory, my younger sister, who is 18 years old, used to have an eating disorder a few years ago and was hospitalized for it. It was a very dark time for our family as my sister was extremely sick mentally. She has been recovered for a while now, but obviously, our family is very familiar with eating disorders and their symptoms. I have a long history of mental illness myself, including major depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and anxiety. After an upsetting year at college and many triggering events, I was pretty emotionally shattered by the time I got home for summer and was using substances to cope. My mother encouraged me to get back on medication for my mental health, which I decided would be a good idea. I started on Wellbutrin. One of the main side effects of Wellbutrin is loss of appetite. While I have always been a healthy weight, I have always struggled with body image, especially because my mother and my sister are very thin and I am significantly more curvy in comparison. I also gained a bit of weight during the school year due to my drinking habits. Once the medication started kicking in, I had a lot more energy to exercise and experienced a significant loss of appetite. However, I still eat regularly and have a perfectly healthy diet. I have lost a bit of weight, probably around 10 pounds since starting the medication. About a week ago, my mother said she needed to have a talk with me. She told me that what I was doing was dangerous, and she was concerned because I stopped snacking as much, and she was not seeing me properly nourish my body. I assured her that I was fine, and that my eating habits were just a symptom of the medication. She then started lashing out at me and told me that if I continued this behavior, she would take away my car so I could not take it with me to college, among other threats. She made me feel extremely guilty and said our family was traumatized by my sister's struggles, and it would be wrong to make my family go through that again, even after I told her I was perfectly fine. Now, she has been trying to control my diet and force me to eat more, which I find extremely bothersome. She will come into my room and aggressively ask me what I am going to eat. I feel bad because it is something she worries about, but trying to punish me for eating less feels wrong to me. She made me feel very selfish for eating less, just because it was also triggering to my siblings. Even if I was struggling with those thoughts, why would she threaten me for feeling that way? Am I the asshole? You handled things appropriately. What your mom is doing here isn't just inappropriate, it's genuinely scary and likely to make you hide any symptoms rather than address them. She clearly has unresolved trauma from your sister's illness, and the way she's coping is by trying to control you, which is both counterproductive and dangerous. If she's truly worried, suggesting that both of you see a therapist could help, as a professional can confirm that you're not experiencing an eating disorder and might also help your mom address her own issues. You deserve better, and a parent's responsibility is to meet each child's individual needs without imposing undue stress. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.